In tonight's Government Insider, we continue our weekly series focused on the stars of the federal workplace. The Service to America medals, or SAMMys, honor federal workers who show a commitment to government and make the agencies they work for stronger. The awards are put on by our friends at the Partnership for Public Service. You'll meet a new finalist here on Capitol Insider every Thursday night. Adam Schlidge is a senior program analyst at the Federal Transit Administration. He developed and implemented a program after Hurricane Sandy to make public transportation systems more resilient against future natural disasters. Adam is a finalist for the Call to Service Medal. Adam, first of all, congratulations on the nomination.
Thank you.
All right, in 2012, Hurricane Sandy barreled up the East Coast, causing 24 deaths and billions of dollars in damage. The superstorm also triggered a major public transportation disaster, damaging rail yards, train tracks, and tunnels throughout the Northeast. In the aftermath, Congress appropriated nearly $11 billion to transportation, including $3.6 billion for resilience grants. All right, Adam, what was the purpose of these grants?
The purpose of the resilience program was to make sure that these public transportation systems are secure against future storms that may occur. Many of these transportation systems were built over 100 years ago. The New York City transit system, for example, first came into service in 1904. And by all expectations, we would expect it to be in service in 2160, 100 years from now. Over that time period, we don't know what kind of storms will hit, but we know from the lessons of Hurricane Sandy that it's a very significant chance that a major storm will come, and in order to avoid that damage and protect the taxpayer investment in these systems, both federal and local taxpayers, as well as the funds that come from riders, we needed to make sure that these systems are protected from future storms.
And you were charged with developing and implementing a plan to distribute these funds, taking into account what would be needed in case of a future natural disaster. Tell me more about your process. How did you evaluate and manage all of that money?
Well, we were aware that the cost to fully make these systems resilient against all future storms was almost unlimited. It was an amount that would never really be available. So with what funding we had, even though $3.6 billion is a tremendous amount of money, we would need to pick and choose between the best projects. So we set out a series of criteria that we would use to evaluate those projects. Things like regional impact, things like benefits to other infrastructure sectors, and most importantly, the one that we sort of innovated for this competition was what we called the hazard mitigation cost effectiveness analysis. And this is what I would call a probability-weighted benefit cost analysis, a way of evaluating, given the uncertainty of what kinds of storms might strike, whether or not the money spent to protect the system will be sort of earned back through reduced damages in future storms.
Your colleagues call your work an enduring legacy, potentially protecting public transit riders 100 years from now. What were the challenges you faced during this process?
Well, educating the transit systems on how we would have this process go forward did take some work. We needed to reach out to FEMA to determine the methods for calculating these kinds of things, and also educate the transit agencies on how to conduct the analysis that we needed to do to put all the types of projects on level ground. But we found that the transit systems were really, they went above and beyond in putting together their best projects and providing them to us.
Before you go, I'm interested in why you chose the public sector, Adam. You started your career in finance, so what drew you to the Federal Transit Administration?
Well, I've always been interested in transportation and really called to serve the public, to have a career where I can make a difference. And I left the finance sector in order to pursue a degree in urban planning. I always thought that I'd be working in local or perhaps a state government, but the opportunity came up to join the Federal Transit Administration, and I jumped at it, and it's been fantastic working with people who really spend their days and dedicating their careers towards improving transportation in local communities.
Adam Schlidge, Senior Program Analyst at the Federal Transit Administration. Thanks and good luck, Adam.
Thank you.